You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I'm your host, and today's episode will be brought to you after this question from our characters.
So this is back during the weeks of preparation for our voyage to the middle of anywhere, and the Doc is going to pull Tychus to one side a moment and try to have a quiet word. I mean, I don't think we've actually really talked about the subject of Kay being, I want to say, possessed, for want of a better phrase at this point, by the spirit of Rur. Is it a good idea, in all honesty, that we are taking potentially him back towards a temple where he has some influence, or could have some influence, or where stuff can happen?
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, I'll be honest with you, and it has made me a little bit concerned. Now, I'm hopeful that with what happened on Benakai, you know, at the end, when Roy threw the dissipation dust or whatever the heck it was over Kay, and Rur seemed to get pulled away from him, I'm hoping that has either gotten rid of Rur entirely, God, we should be so lucky, but I'm hoping it has, or at the very least reduced his influence to the point that he's nothing more than a niggly voice in the head. And, you know, ignoring those little voices in the back of your head, the niggle is something that, you know, can easily be done with a little bit of practice and determination. But now, the problem is, I don't think we've got a choice, really. We need to go there. We need to get this done. We can't get there without Kay, and we wouldn't want to. I won't want to leave him behind, because that doesn't seem right. You know, we're here together. But yeah, it is something I think we're going to have to keep an eye on and make sure nothing majorly untoward happens. I'll be honest, Doc, if the worst happens and Rur is still in there and resurges, you know, comes back to dominance and potentially goes beyond just being a rider with Kay and actually takes him over, I don't know what we could do. I don't know what I could do. Certainly that's not what I do. Like, I can't build a depossession machine, because I don't even know how for this stuff. I'm still not entirely convinced it's a thing, really, as opposed to, you know, someone having a wee bit of magic. You know, I don't know.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I like you. It doesn't seem right to stop Kay coming with us, and obviously we need him to get there in the first place, but we are going to have to be watchful.
If, like, Rur does start being the big I am again and takes away Kay's free will, have you got any way of knocking him out or something until we can get him away from there and get Kay back?
I mean, I've got a medikit which I'm sure will have something in it to do that, but, you know, getting access to something while he's in, you know, while both of us are in an environment suit makes that seem a little problematic.
And I didn't have the spare parts to build in, like, an auto-stim injector. It's something I'm looking at, but there wasn't the space in the suits. They're so geared up to stopping us melting to death that I really had to put all that extra kind of capacity and space into, like, cooling gels and heat sinks and that sort of thing to keep us alive down there, and oxygen vials and that.
So standard operating procedure. Hope for the best.
I think that's all we got. Good talk, Doc.
Welcome to yet another session of Jedi. My name is Ed Fortune. I will be the games master. I will be mastering games. I'm running out of clever and novel ways to do this, but thank you for listening so far, and we really sincerely hope you're enjoying the story as we are telling it. It's been wild, it's been fun, and it's been deeply silly, and obviously I can't tell a story like this without some deeply silly friends who I would love to introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Adam, as you will know by now. I play Tychus Barr, as you will well know by now. His emotional strength is bravery, his emotional weakness is recklessness, as you will well know by now. And he's a bestless guardian armourer, which might have escaped your notice.
As you know, I am Ross. I am playing Dr. Smex Karam-Danelua, a Cerean consular healer, whose emotional strength is his compassion, whose weakness is obstinacy. As you will know, other people are about to introduce themselves.
I'm not doing that. My name is Mikey. I play Kay, or Dalen Kyrane. He is a human Starfighter Racer Turu striker. His emotional strength is his compassion. His emotional weakness is the fact that the party are planning to off him if he gets too naughty. And also hatred.
Not off you. Knock you out so we can take you back somewhere safe. We want to kill Rur, not
At least
you.
3 of you have no way of knocking me out.
I have a way of knocking you out.
Use all 3 of them.
Yeah.
I believe the phrase is, I am the way.
Would you like to actually introduce yourself, Mick?
I think I Am the Way covered it.
Hello. I am the instrument of Kay's destruction if need be.
Sure are.
And the most comical probable way to choose one's own execution is death by Roy. Hello, everybody. I'm Mim, as you well know. I play Roy, as you well know. I am a bodyguard and heavy as my specializations. And I also have a career as a hired gun, as you well know. But what you may not remember is that I have an obligation to the Barr family of 40. But you, I know you know that too.
You see, now I'm the only one who hasn't done that, as you well know.
Before we go any further into the story, one thing that you, our beloved listeners, will not well know, but I think is a very important announcement. Mikey has a kitten on his head.
I do.
This is not a euphemism.
Right now.
They have a kitten
on my
right
head.
now. The kitten is on his head and will be on his head and shoulders for the duration of this recording.
Yeah.
So if you
Keep
can picture that as you're going through everything else and join us as we all die of cuteness. Ed, take us away from the kitten to a world of suffering and pain.
I would love to. And now, gentle listener, as you have familiarised yourself with the sound of our voices, we are going to get on with it as I stop thinking about the glorious game of Cat on Your Head and start playing a game of Star Wars. So, the last time we played, you were in very, very far underground, in the heart, literally the heart of the planet Cerean. You had found this wonderful kind of massive special effects laden subterranean paradise full of weird creatures with its own kind of ecology. You had discovered all sorts of bizarre kind of elements of that. Listen to the last episode, it's great. We worked quite hard on it. Well, I say we, I mean Adam. And right now, the party have entered into a room that seems to be the history of the world of Syria. It seems to be indicated by the father, one of the symbols that you found in Syria's national park. And you've gone past the kind of history of the world, the formation of the star, the formation of the actual planet, the evolution of the beings that live there. And now you are in this bizarre garden made out of crystalline statues, all of which are, at least to the doc, if not the rest of the party, creatures that are native to this world. And bizarrely, you're on this lip, so you'd have to go down into the space. But right in the centre, dressed in Aspectu style robes, is Cerean, who reminds you a lot like the Doc. He could be the Doc's brother, or the Doc's father, or the Doc's grandfather, but he, the same wrinkles to the forehead, the same shape of, it's a spitting image of him, except for the fact that it's mummified and dead.
Okay, so when you say it's a spitting image of him, of mummified and dead, it does still sound like we're just racist and they all look the same.
I was nearly going to make that comment in character, actually, but so I'm kind of glad that you saved me from myself there.
No, I'm just there, and I'm like, this is an IC or an OC thing.
I don't want to sound like a racist there, Doc, but
He looks just like you if you were dead and wrinkly.
Is that your grandpa?
When you say mummified, I picture there's still being bandages over the face, so I'm not quite sure how you could tell.
Your knowledge of mummification is very limited. You've clearly never seen any of the
everybody.
Yes?
Okay. That looks very much like the Doc. I don't know about you, but I've travelled through a network which puts me in various different places in time. Are we sure that's not the Doc?
Oh, DNA, check the DNA. The building blocks of life.
I don't think we have that sort of... Maybe he's wearing a name badge?
I mean, Doc, you're a, what's the word? Doc? Maybe you could take a sample and we can look later.
I will get TBC to take a sample and see whether we can determine anything about it, but I know we've seen some weird stuff, but I like that your first thought was not relative or something like that, and were more time travel.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really serious thing. I lean over to Tychus and just nudge him and go, it's not, I'm just making it up.
Just to be clear, rather than going into the garden of delicate glass things, you're sending a droid over.
Okay, one, I thought we were at least closer to it, enough to it, that we could identify it looked like me. So, and I don't think we can do that from the other side of the room.
And like TBC flies as well. He's a little flying
TBC flies. So you're flying a droid over. Just to explain the situation, it's a large illuminated cave. Below you is an extremely well illuminated, like it's a vast garden, but quite obviously in the middle, like sitting on some rocks, well illuminated. It's like there's a spotlight is this big, so you can quite clearly see it. So you can get to it fairly easily, but you would have to go over the lip and down a little bit to get there. You see what I mean? You're above this, looking down.
Okay. I have questions about all the creatures around us, because among other things, like, is there a statue of the little jelly things, and if so, how? But I do want to go towards the highlighted, corpse, because that's kind of thing the most highlighted thing, and therefore most. I need a better word than plot relevant.
It's the only thing that our cursor changes from a pointer to a hand over when we mouse over it.
So, to explain the situation, you have this, essentially, you're at the top end of, if you think of it as a theatre stage, all of this life, or this statuesque crystalline life, is below you. You can look down. There's a thing that's illuminated.
Sorry, if we're looking down at it, would you say it's a bit like an amphitheatre?
Amphitheatre is exactly what I'm going for.
Amphitheatre, thank you. Fantastic. All right, so are these statues and figurines then turned towards the stage, or are they arranged haphazardly or very organised?
I'm trying to think of the appropriate role to make, and I think it's either vigilance or some sort of education check, depending on what is more suitable for your character. If you're just having a look around, it's vigilance from where you're standing.
Yeah, I look without thinking, and then once I've got the information, I'll start looking at stuff. But originally, I think like a robot, you just take everything in and then start doing pattern recognition.
What's the difficulty, Ed?
A difficulty is 2.
Sorry, so I think that's probably going to be vigilance, or...
Vigilance is fine.
Yeah, it's not great for me, but that's probably best.
Depending on what skill you're using, it depends on quite the result.
Okay, so I rolled a failure, but I did get 2 advantages. So I can't see nothing. And it's probably because I'm not really paying attention. And I'm going to use those advantages to try and heal back a bit of strain. So I'm taking a breather.
It is very pretty, and you are taken by the natural beauty is the wrong word, but it's this organic loveliness.
Gotcha.
I've got 1 success and 1 threat.
Okay.
I have 1 success on Vigilance.
And a single success for me as well.
Okay, so going in order, Roy, take a strain as you take a step back, as you're like, oh! And everyone else who's notices that these are all slowly moving, because they're not quite where you thought they were. When you look at them, they don't move. When you turn away and look back, you're going, did that move? But the threat comes from Roy, where Roy's immediately, you immediately switch on a kind of threat, and then you realise it's not. For a moment, you're like, they're coming for me. And then you realise, no, this is not some sort of deadly, surreal game. It's literally when you're not paying attention to them, they're kind of like, ruffling their feathers or blinking or moving a talon. And then when you look at them, perfectly still.
Are they Harryhausening it?
Yes. Yes, they are.
Okay.
And Doc, you realise that, yes, the jellies are here. There's so many things here that you aren't aware of, and you're like, oh, those, yes. The Cerean version of a Sasquatch is there. Like, as you look around, you're like, the great hairy Cereans. I thought they were a myth, sort of thing. And you realise that this is a treasure trove for, anyone who wanted to know about the biosphere of the world.
The evolutionary offshoot before we all went bald. Right, okay.
This is beautiful.
Can I, because I've got special goggles and I'm a computer, can I record visually, or at the very least scans of all of these different things, just as a brief, tiny piece of data for an evolutionary history? Mostly because his immediate thought is, this would be a great project for the kids.
Yes, it'll take a little bit of time, but you can be A, definitely recording, and B, because of the nature of your systems, they can actually notice the fluctuation, if you see what I mean.
Oh, cool, brilliant.
They can actually do like compare contrast. It isn't you. Like, you can confirm using your brain it isn't you. But yes, and Tychus, you make the same sort of observation, but obviously you're not as surprised because you're like, your heart leaps in your throat, but it doesn't cause you any terror. You just go, that's freaky.
So, do we think these are like the hut statues and that sort of thing from the other temple? Or do we think this is a different thing? I mean, some of these are dark and others are glittering. Like, Doc, like, this is your planet. Like, these ones that are dark, is there any significance?
I'd have to ask Ed at this point. Is it clear that the extinct ones have faded?
Yes, quite clearly, as you look round, the animals that you recognise that every school Cerean would know.
Yeah.
You know, we weren't able to save this, we weren't able to save that. And you do look round, and some of the megafauna, like the megafauna is in a smaller form, if you see what I mean. There isn't like a massive whale just hanging from a ceiling. It's like a model of, but it is doing the twitching thing. But certain creatures, that the ones that are dark, you're pretty sure are the ones that are extinct. There's a couple that, like, you start looking around, but you realise that there's hundreds of things here as well, and the scale is off.
Okay, I mean, I would look from the... Yeah, it looks like the ones that are still that lit up are the ones that are still around. The rest are, I would guess most of them are extinct. I will relay that to Tychus, but I also want to know, is the Sasquatch still lit up?
The Sasquatch is still lit up.
Knew it. Sorry, carry on.
I love that. I just want to see the Doc do a tiny little fist bump as if like a 10-year-old version of himself has suddenly been vindicated after being told he was ridiculous for writing a school project on a creature everyone else said was imaginary. And you got a C and you remembered it for forever.
The Doc is a Bigfoot truther. On the subject of the scale, Ed, when you said the scales are a bit wrong, is that because you said the megafauna was small, is that because like the size of the model is roughly the same regardless of the creature that it's representing? Yeah.
Roughly the same size. And there's a lot of things here. So some things are slightly larger because of just the way they're made.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean. So a thing with lots of limbs has to be slightly larger than... So the squids are quite... Like, when you actually realise what the squid is, the squid's quite large compared to everything else, but you realise they're cat-sized. They're not that big.
Yeah.
Whereas a thing that's quite clearly Cereans are roughly the same size. So you're like, oh, the scale, and then you realise, oh, that would be horrifying if it was 6 foot tall. It's probably an inch tall. It's probably a beetle.
I imagine there's a whole, like, hall that are just beetles. If it's anything like Earth, here are 10 million beetle species. Or is it just one beetle?
The cave goes on for a long way. Like, you could spend a long time here.
Well, this is like the Natural History Museum plus.
Yeah, do we think these are like the immortality crystals, like the hut statue we're coming here to break? Or do we think this is like a health monitor for the planet? And I suppose, following on from that hypothetical, the ones that are dark are the species that are extinct.
Mm-hmm.
If we broke one of these, would that cause an extinction event for that species? Because if so, we're going to have to be super careful.
I mean, I was having similar thoughts, but I'm also thinking, are we the right party to...
We're the only ones here.
None of us is very clumsy, right?
No.
My worry is, like, more so than before. Okay, I'm content to try and find a different hall and take it carefully. Will the Empire be so careful? Will the Empire, if they find this place, find the Cerean statue and go, hey, so you work for us now, totally and without any further question or resistance, or we're going to break the statue and genocide your species? Because my original plan of blowing this place to hell, like, I'm keen, but I'm not, I'm not a monster.
My problem here is that if you cause one genocide, that could be considered an accident. If I do 2, that's a pattern.
Yeah, but like, I mean, that's, yeah. Well, yeah, like, original plan to blow this place to hell.
Well, we destroyed the temple back on Kinabale.
But the temple on Kinabale didn't have this kind of supposed link to the ecology of a planet. And also, Kinabale's wrecked.
Don't you guys have access to the Force? Can't you, check whether there's a life link or something? You're magic.
My force doesn't work like that. I can jump down. Oh, no, that's it.
I mean, that's a really good idea, and I'm willing to try it as well. But I would like to push on Mim's question, which he hasn't quite answered yet, which is, are these all in an amphitheatre style facing towards the corpse?
They are not facing towards the corpse. They're all doing their own thing in their own space.
Okay.
They're not arranged in a way that you can... It's not like a museum. They're everywhere, and they're all over the place. But now that you realise that they can move, they kind of have rearranged themselves slowly over time. It would be reasonable to assume that this is kind of like... This is not for your viewing. It's not designed for your viewing. What is quite clear from the mummified body, though, is that there's space around the mummified body. Like, nothing's moved too close towards it. It's notable. You realise, like, the more you look at it, you go, the light's pointing in its general direction, and also everywhere else is a bit crowded. You could, you think, like, walk a path without touching any of them towards the centre if you wanted to. But it is a big space and it is quite crowded. But it's not been arranged. It's not been curated.
I mean, I kind of have a couple of ideas. One being that if they are moving, and they are sort of replicating bits of life, maybe, like animals, if we go down there and go, shoot, 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 they will move out of the way.
Wait, what's moving?
Oh, did you not notice? The things down there are kind of moving, but you can't really look at them. You have to sort of half look at them and then look away and then move back, and you realize they're not quite the same, but you know.
Right. I haven't taken my eyes off them yet. But carry on.
Yeah, I'd noticed that as well, Roy. I thought it was just me.
Oh no, they really are. Which is why I think your magic people... Shouldn't your magic people have noticed that? Anyway, get your magic on and have a look at them, because I don't think they're robots or droids. The other thing is, well, if this is all living things, right? Well, living things aren't just the things we can see, and if you're worried about breaking anything, I'm just going to have a really close look at the, microstructures and microorganisms that might be around here as well. Because what if there's teeny tiny statues?
So I'm going to go for hyper, and I'm going to be looking to see if this really is a complete biosystem in everything. So let's go for one of the smallest things I'll be able to think of is probably a microalgae or microplankton.
So I'm going to say this isn't a roll. What I'm going to say is this is going to take time as you scan, but you're looking for a specific thing.
Well, I'm looking for at least something basic of life that I can identify, and if I can find that, then I'll know that there could be things that even I couldn't identify.
So it takes you a few minutes, and then you do the thing, like your brain just goes, oh, hang on, I haven't, and you look up. And as you look up, you realise that some of the source of illumination are this flat bits of crystal. And in the flat bits of crystal, you realise it's not like you initially think it's just like a line of paint, like a line of like illuminating crystal. And as you look closer, it's lots and lots and lots of little detailed things, like the stars. And there's like, there are millions of them. It is countless as the number just goes up and up and up and up. As you look at them and you see all these tiny, tiny, tiny little things carved into the ceiling. And they too are moving very slowly.
And because Roy is sort of very on the level, and as much as he's connected with Tychus, I know that one of the Doc's daughters is particularly interested in microbiology, and I know I can't take a snapshot of this, like of all the details, but I'm going to just try and take one photo so I can remember to explain to her that
this is just the world. This is the building blocks of life and everything, like a star system, and it's beautiful.
And I just turn to the Doc and say, your girl, I don't remember her name, but there'll be a name and you'll give her a name. Your girl, insert name here, would really love this. You should be so proud of her.
I'm proud of all my kids.
And then moves on.
Yeah, we're gonna be okay. Let's see if these things will move out the way.
Alright, shall I jump down?
Aye, why not?
Okay.
I'm going to stay up here for the moment.
What sort of distance is it from where we are to the ground?
I can lower you the cable if you need it.
I'm going to say it's a 30-foot drop.
So short?
So a short drop, yeah.
Okay. Right, I'm going to jump down.
Force leap.
Yeah, force leap.
Could I have a coordination check, please?
Not an athletics check for falling.
Or an athletics check if you'd rather have an athletics check. I'm thinking more moving carefully rather than just jumping.
No, I'm
down.
jumping. I'm doing a force leap.
Okay.
Yeah, I think also he's got the skill force leap that just lets him do it for spending a light side pip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the by, just to remind you, you are in a area of force convergence. You are +2 light side for anything that is life-related, nature-related. I'm happy for you to use the Force here for you to safely land. Are you drawing upon the Virgins? Are you drawing upon the power in this area?
Mm-hmm.
As you tap into the Force, you get the vibe for this place, which is nature in tooth and claw. It is red. It is red. It is green. It is the rawness of life. Vibrant. There is the power of life here. It just kind of fills you. And like the leap is effortless. You know, you feel like some sort of primal creature just like landing. And as you land, you're kind of face to face with this crystalline cat as well, just like for the effect.
Mm-hmm.
If you see what I mean, you can just see it. You can almost touch it.
I don't.
Okay.
I pick up stuff and they curse me quite often, so I don't. I just go, meow, and then I stand straight back up.
You have chosen wisely.
It seems safe, guys.
Okay, good. In that case, we should all jump down into the 30-foot pit.
Okay.
And Roy does.
Okay. Can I have an athletics check from Roy, please?
Probably not.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's not good.
Sorry, Doc.
Difficulty is 2. You have good athletics.
Oh, we're good, man. We are really good. It's kind of a fate. Wait, oh, well, wait, no, we're not. Wait.
It's a journey.
Yeah, sorry. I was like, yay, a triumph. Yay, 2 advantages. Oh, a disadvantage. A threat. Oh, a threat and a failure. So altogether, that is 1 triumph, 1 failure.
So a triumph is also a success.
So they cancel each other out. Everything cancels. It's a wash. It's an absolute wash.
Will now be failure with a triumph.
Failure with a triumph. Yeah, that's it. Oh, that was a real journey. I was so happy.
Maybe the triumph is that you don't break anything as you fall off the rock and just land face first.
Oh, I'd like that. Can I do the Terminator thing of kind of landing smack on my face, burying myself about an inch into the ground so I'm a nice flat surface, and then just raising up a thumb and going,
Okay. Made it.
You fall flat on your face and do the thing, and you realise you're about 2 inches away, had you got that wrong, from what you're pretty sure is the statue of Cereans.
I mean, I was going to ask if that one was actually there, but yeah. I was going to ask someone to look for that in a moment, but yeah. Thank you for missing that one.
Absent-mindedly, he almost goes to reach the hand and pull himself up, going, thanks, Doc, and then goes, oh, no, and doesn't touch it. I'm an idiot, but I'm not that much of an idiot.
What does the rest of the party do?
I'm not going to fall like Roy.
I will help the doc down using my ascension cable to basically lower him down on a cord, but Tychus is big and bulky and is not risking it. He's staying up at the top. He knows his strengths and it's not being dainty.
That's fair. We also need a way out.
Yeah, so I will stay up the top. I will attach my ascension cable to the dock, anchor myself, and then just lower him down.
Okay.
Which was about to do to Roy before, like, Roy just saw Kay leap down and went, I can do that! Blat. Okay!
Well, the doc said we were all going to do it.
Well, if the doc said to jump in a fire, would you? Yes, clearly.
Clearly the doc has a sense of authority he hadn't realised he had.
If it had been anything more dangerous, it might have kicked in my obligation to the Barr family, but we're forming a new family here, so it's all a little wibbly-wobbly.
Given the kind of person that Tychus is, I am happy for you to, without having to make a roll, just set up a belay so they can get back up quickly.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I will stay up here on Overwatch, effectively, letting them up and down, and with Clementine out, just in case any threats come, because they might do. We don't know what's going on down here. But yeah, I will stay up at the top and just be on Overwatch, keeping an eye out.
There's plenty of natural outcroppings as well to, like, tie stuff to and secure things to, and you're fairly confident that that rock's not going anywhere.
Let's keep ourselves on an open channel, shall we, so we can hear each other.
Aye, sounds like a plan.
So you find yourself in a Garden of Wonders. Again, a slightly different Garden of Wonders. What are you doing? And how much attention are you paying to the statues around you?
Personally, I'm focusing on the Cerean statue because I want to look at that and I want to know from memory how similar it is to the Cerean statue that we saw back at the temple. Because for a moment there, I wondered whether the Cerean statue had been removed from here and taken to Kina Vale. But clearly, if there's one here, no, it wasn't. This is a duplicate, but I don't know how similar it is. Also, how similar it is to like modern day Cereans, like in a sense of, you know, Okay, they were all proportional height-wise to the amount of rock materials. I'm not going to know whether they're like this is a modern day healthy Cerean rather than a couple of centuries ago where we might have been a little bit less tall or something. But actually, no, Cereans are going to have been around for a couple of thousand years as a civilization because we're.
My understanding is they're all carved from like a roughly cubic foot of crystal is the impression I'm kind of getting from the sizing. So
They're all approximately the same scale.
Okay.
maybe go based on the clothing, but I don't know how innovative Cerean fashion is.
Make an education check. Difficulty is 2.
I'm going to argue slightly that wouldn't I have certain. No, hang on.
Is there a different skill you'd rather use?
No, education is fine. I'm just thinking, do I not have some kind of natural advantage of living on Cerea for half my life?
But you might not know the entire evolutionary history of your people. I mean, to be kind of pissy, if you can't name all of the species that occurred before Homo sapiens, then we're humans.
And I suppose also the doc's a medical doctor, not an anthropologist.
If you want to make it a little bit more medical as the information you get, you can make a medicine check instead, which I believe is a much bigger role for you.
Yeah, that'd be cool, because you'd immediately notice shortening of bones, lengthening of bones, and things like that. Proportions and cranial shapes and ridges tend to be quite obvious in skulls, even with flesh above on them. What else would stand out?
And Cereans have such a big skull, you'd be able to see everything.
Mhm.
I just want one of them to look like Dan Aykroyd.
Development of hands and feet.
That has come to 2 advantage and no successes. So the answer is Pissy was correct. It'll come to me.
So this place is a beautiful place of wonder and delight. So I pull out my gun.
Can I now turn around and make a medical medicine check? Well, I'm not sure medicine's the right one, but you pick something better. On the corpse.
On the corpse, yes.
Yeah.
So with me leading and the others following behind, we make our way round the statues, because I still haven't seen one move, all the way to the front. But we're doing an extended... We're not going the direct route. We're going a leisurely route to make sure we don't get too close to any of the statues.
I'm happy for that to not require a roll. You all follow Mr. Wolf styly, very carefully, head towards the centre. And it's strange because everyone is concentrating on moving and you're looking at your steps. You suddenly realise as you get there that, and Kay, you notice this as well, your path there and back is much more clearer than it was.
Oh, they don't like us.
It feels like they're staying away from you.
Where we've walked, they've moved. That's handy. So the mummified corpse.
Okay, so you're in front of the mummified corpse. What are you doing to it? Are you touching it? Are you hitting it with scanners?
I'm not going to hit it with the scanner. I'm just going to scan it. Hitting it with the scanner seems unnecessarily brutal at this point in its life.
Was there anything Roy wanted to do, by the way?
I'm going to also take photos and scan it, but I'm also going to pay attention the animal statues that have moved. Has there been any difference in carnivore versus herbivore movement, or is everything staying out the way?
As you look round with that thought, you realise that you think there might be distinct subsets, because all the 4-legged things seem to be roughly in one area.
Okay, fair enough then.
So you'd have to study it more to get that.
I was just
information.
checking to see whether there were any predators moving in, but that's fine. That probably means no. Cool.
So, medicine check from the doc on the corpse. What tools are you using?
Medical scanner and anything TBC related, I suppose.
Okay, so TBC pops up.
I've not done TBC remotely this time. I've just got close to it. So is that difficulty 2?
A difficulty 2, yes, please.
That is no successes and 3 advantage. These dice are looking great. There's a lot of cancelling out.
Okay, so you
did have 2 advantage that I don't think were spent from your previous roll.
That's true.
Could those be used to boost this? Can you use
you
advantages
can roll
to boost your own
you can
rolls?
roll another 2 blue. See if you get anything.
2 blue. Hooray, we have an extra success. That makes in total of 1 success and 6 advantage.
That seems fair because he's used the advantage of trying to scan one thing to moving to scanning something which is actually biologically real, so he's got more experience.
So, several things that you notice. One, the body is holding something, and with 3 of those advantage, you're fairly confident that TBC can remove whatever it's holding without disrupting the body. However, this entire body is about to it's so fragile. The information that you get on, I'm assuming you're spending the rest of the advantages to, what do you need to know? What do you want to know?
I mean, I suppose, one, how similar is it to me? I mean, we had the question about, is it another Dr. Smex, but cause of death, how long it's been here. And I'll get round to what it's holding in its hands as a later thing. At the minute, I'm just checking purely on the medicine and biology.
Doc, if we can get a DNA sample, it might be useful for identification. This guy may be one of your saints or something, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything with a name on it around here, on the floor, or on his robes, anything to identify it?
So, Doc, on your scan, this is an ancestor of yours. This is a direct ancestor of yours. Its scan is extremely close to who you are. You'd have to sit down and figure it out, but this is like of your line. That said, you know, the similarities are remarkable given the distance of time.
Yeah.
That is remarkable. Almost miraculous. Right, okay. Cause of death is extreme old age.
Okay.
Cause of tissue degradation is whatever was preventing the toxic atmosphere around here from eating this body stopped, presumably when they died.
I don't want to worry you, Doc, but that's clearly you.
Right, so something was preserving, making sure this body wasn't being decomposed by the environment around us until possibly very recently.
No, this happened, like, this thing died a long time ago.
Right.
Like this body died a long time ago, but they were very old when they died. Like very, very old. Essentially, this person sat here, wasn't affected by the environment, which they should have been, because these robes, like, you're looking at the robes don't seem to have anything special that makes them... Maybe they do, you'd have to take the robes off. But, like, you're not convinced that the robes are enough environmental protection. So whatever it was doing to keep itself alive, when that stopped, then the environmental effects proceeded to preserve slowly. But this happened over a long time.
Well, it couldn't have been the robes because he's not got anything to protect his head. So either the atmosphere here has changed since, or there were life support systems running in these temples that have since broken since he died.
From your scans, there doesn't seem to be anything to suggest... It's like they were able to breathe this atmosphere when they were alive.
Right, okay. I mean, my initial thought was, is there something in, like, the torchlight above us that, might be preserving in some way?
As you look up, it's these tiny little stars. That's interesting. You remember that Roy got excited by it, but that's where the light's coming from.
Right.
When you say stars, I mean, is there a constellation pattern that we would possibly recognise?
No, it's biological organisms. A collection of tiny microorganisms all preserved up there, and some of them are sparkling and they're lit.
Okay. This is medically very, very interesting. I'm making sure that TBC is recording as much material as possible in case medically of this, because I have no idea what else to do with this medical information just yet, but there's something definitely here worth studying.
It's holding something.
Okay, I'm going to ask for a vote from the rest of the party. There's something in its hand.
Right.
Do we want to dislodge it?
I think I can probably get it without breaking it.
Oh, actually, I have an arts and crafts kit that might help.
And at this, he produces 2 large bottles of PVA glue.
I can just try and pull it out, if you want. I kind of want to.
Okay. Tychus, any input?
From up on the hill. You've got eyes on it.
I'm doing it.
Kay's going to do it while we're discussing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be there going,
Well, I would make papier-mâché, but I don't have any paper on me.
So does Kay just reach over and pull?
No, I'm going to Indiana Jones very carefully remove it. If I can't remove it without breaking it, then I won't try. But I'm breaking the skeleton. I won't try, but I will definitely give it a go.
I mean, if any of these rocks are gypsum, then we could make some plaster of Paris, and that would also help to preserve the corpse and also form a nice external mold of it, so you can look at the shape of it. And he's going to take it.
What sort of roll do you want to make to do that, Kay?
Coordination seems relevant.
A difficulty is 2.
Do you want to up it or anything? So I don't.
I'm going to let you add +2 light side dice because of the virgins.
All right. I thought you were going to want to make it more difficult.
No. My hands are a little bit tied in this sort of place for throwing the dark side around.
Right, so that is... Oh dear. Well, without all of my dice, it's a failure with 4 advantages, but I've got 3 light side pips here, so it's now 2 successes and 4 advantages.
Okay, so you do not touch the corpse. You do take whatever's out of its hand, and it's a flower. just a flower. As you follow this beautifully preserved crystalline flower.
Now that is beautiful.
Tychus, you see a flash from where your two companions are, and then they vanish. And on that note, let's end the session here, and we'll see you all again next episode.
Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Edge Studios. Our intro music is by the amazing Sly Fox Audio. Check out more of her work at soundcloud.com/SlyFoxAudio. Our outro music is Suburban Outlaw instrumental version by Forget the Whale, used with gratitude under a Creative Commons license. Many of the sound effects and soundscapes are created using Sirenscape, because epic games need epic sounds. If you're enjoying the show and want to support us, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/forcemajeurepod, where for as little as $1 a month you get access to outtakes, adverts, various other stuff, and my fortnightly ramblings. You can drop us a coffee at ko-fi.com/forcemajeurepod, or you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to interact with us, there's a few ways you can do that. We are on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as @ForceMajeurePod, and we're over on Mastodon as @ForceMajeurePod at dice.can. You can also join our Discord, link in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening and being with us as we tell these stories. We hope you are having fun, and we will see you next time.